Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Life and In Between podcast, where we sit in the real, the raw, and everything in between. Now, today's conversation, this one invites you to slow down and really listen. So, wherever you are right now, go ahead, take a breath, sit back, relax, and just be present with us for a moment. Because we're joined by someone who has spent years not just studying health, but questioning it, investigating it, and living it. Michael Dorfman is a health and nutrition coach, an investigative author, and a speaker who has written multiple books and is now preparing to launch a new one. And what makes this conversation so powerful is that it's not about trends or quick fixes. It's about understanding your body, changing what you have been told, and taking ownership of your health in a way that actually lasts. So wherever you are in your journey, this conversation is going to meet you there and maybe even shift something. Michael, welcome to the show, and we're so honored to have you. And for everyone out there listening, please give me a round of applause to Michael. Michael, I know I just gave a brief summary of the things that you have done in the past and what you're currently working on. What I find most exciting and you're so inspirational is that you're 83 years old and you just keep going. You have longevity there. So tell us more about what you're doing.
Well, actually, I was 84 in January.
Oh, okay.
So
well, happy
just a
belated
little
birthday.
bit older.
Okay.
Well, Diana, it's I'm just enjoying my later years, and that's what I'm trying to portray to other people and tell people about, and that's what my coaching is all about. The my new book, which is it should be out within 2-3 weeks on Amazon because it's pretty much finished. The Longevity Wellness Revolution, and it's a bold new blueprint for thriving during the fifth stage of life, which is 80 to 100 and beyond. So that's what the book is. The title is, and that's what I'm trying to do is help people who are really may think that life is sort of older, or you're over the hill once you're in your 70s and there's not much to look forward to. So I'm here to say that that's not true. That doesn't have to be that way. And even if your doctor is telling you that, you don't have to believe him. Some people, unfortunately, in their 70s, not some people, a lot of people in their 70s already have a chronic disease, but not all chronic diseases are, a death sentence, or all you can do is manage the symptoms and take a drug, or et cetera. But they're even up to even reversible. And I had an interesting experience many years ago with a friend of ours that sort of turned me in the direction of wanting to tell people, about what the possibilities are.
I love that you said that because you mentioned about chronic diseases, and a lot of people reach at a certain point and they think that's the end point. And I want to expand on this because currently, right now, my mom is living through something like this. And so one of the things that when we talked the first time around and you were telling me about the stuff that you're doing and about a little bit about your book and all that, my mom has Parkinson's and she feels like it's the end, and she has like disconnected when she was under the caregiver of one of my siblings. Since then, my other sibling has taken over. And we've talked about changing her routine. And as a result, she's thriving better because of the things that she's doing. Because at one point she felt like she was just sitting in front of a TV and just watching it. And that was it, just withering away. And so my other sibling has taken her to, painting, doing different things. Can you expand on your life experience? Because a living testimony. I'm seeing it with my mom. Tell me about that story that you mentioned a little bit earlier. That you.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Well, in 1976 was my first turn towards health, even though I became a vegetarian. My wife
Okay.
did also. We became vegetarians at the same time, but it wasn't so much because of health reasons at that time. I became interested in Oriental, Eastern philosophy and religion. And
Okay.
a lot of people on that side of the world were vegetarians. So I figured, well, why not? Just I became a vegetarian. And that was in 1976. And it lasted many years. The only problem I was having was that I was getting sick every year. Uh, there weren't, terrible symptoms or illness, but it was like flu-like symptoms. I would get a sore throat,
Mm.
congestion, fever, headaches, and this was happening every year. It was amazing. I couldn't understand it, and it was once or twice a year, and I just went through it and accepted it. My brother at that time, we were living in New York. No, I was living in, actually, I was living in Mexico at that time. I've been here a long time. But my
Okay.
brother was telling me that, who was already plant based for about 10 years at that time. He was, uh, he was a vegan, and that
Mm.
was many years ago. And he was telling me that maybe the problem is the dairy because I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat meat. I didn't eat meat, but I ate uh, dairy and eggs. And I didn't, at that time when he told me, he said he recommended that I give up dairy and see if that's the problem. But I
Okay.
couldn't do it because I was just so attached to dairy, the pizza and the
Yeah.
cheese, which
Mm.
many people find more difficult giving up than even meat. So I said, well, thank you, no thanks. And I just kept on going and I kept getting sick every year until finally he told me about the book, The China Study by T. Colin Campbell. And he was also plant based, T. Colin Campbell. He's in his 90s now. So I read the book and that changed my life. I just got really influenced by it and I became plant based. So that was well, it's going to be 18 years very soon that I've been plant based, and that was for me personally. But
Right.
what happened, what really turned around things around for me, was a friend of ours, my wife and mine, uh, Beatrice. She lived on the island of Cozumel in Mexico, where I live. Uh, she had a heart attack and they rushed her to the hospital. She had quadruple bypass heart surgery and they sent her home. It was successful. They sent her home and she was doing well. But a year later, she started complaining of a pain in her arm, which is one of the possible signs of cardiovascular disease. Again, so they told her, well, come to the hospital. And what they did is, well, what they wanted to do was to put a stent in, which is what often happens a year or two after you get the heart surgery. Why? Well, because the original cause of the problem was not removed. And so they took her back into the hospital. They couldn't put the stent in because the vein that replaced the original artery was too narrow.
Mm. Okay.
So uh, they told her that there really wasn't anything they could do. They told her they sent her home, told her to not to exert herself and not to do too many exercises, not to climb stairs, even though her bedroom was on the second floor of her house. What they didn't tell her, and they told my wife and they told her son, was that she had about 6 months to live.
Mm.
So she went back home, didn't know that. And I was at that time, I had 2 years, I was already on plant based foods. And I was reading a lot because I like to do a lot of research, which I still do on different subjects. So I had this book It was by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease. And he was a head surgeon and chief of staff at the Cleveland Clinic, which is, considered the top heart clinic in the U.S. and maybe even in the world. So he was amazing. But he was doubting. He was wondering what is going on because he was a heart surgeon, and why do things keep getting worse every year? There's more people with heart disease, and here we have better technology, the training of the doctors. What's going on? So he decided to go in a different path, and he got into the plant-based road to reversing heart disease to see if that would work. And it was amazing because it was he was taking on these patients that were so far gone. Some of them, they had difficulty even walking from one side of the room to the other. So he was taking these patients, and the end was over years is that he was having like a 95% success rate.
Wow.
That instead of people living a few months, they were living 10 to 15 years longer. So he wasn't the only, there was Pritikin was another doctor. There were other doctors that were having this success. So I decided to give the book to Beatrice and see if she was willing to make the change, because I knew about her, that 6-month deal. So I gave her the book and I said, read it, decide for yourself what to do. And she did, and she made the change. And instead of living 6 months, she lived almost 10 years. And she didn't pass away from heart disease. It was she had a problem with her lungs. It was a different complication.
Okay.
But for me, it was like it changed my life, and I started doubting everything. It's like what we're being told,
Right.
and why doctors. I mean, if this is having so much success, how come that doctors don't? I mean, even if you go through the surgery, like she did, why? The first she would tell us that the first day after the surgery, they brought in the breakfast, and it was bacon and eggs.
All fatty foods, all that stuff
Yeah, all the stuff you're not supposed to be eating. So why is it? How come this is not the default diet for people who have gone through surgery?
right.
And then you find out that well, I did that. Doctors aren't trained. They don't get classes enough. I think some of the places, some clinics, some universities have 8 hours of nutrition and lifestyle. It's ridiculous, but that's the way it's at. And I don't know if it has to do with the power of the drug companies that have a lot to say with the what the students study and what is the go-to therapy, or go-to what doctors should be offering their patients. But it's obviously not, the doctors, not many doctors sit down for 20 minutes or a half hour talking to their patient about, well, what's your problem, and really wanting to know what's going on so they can say, well, maybe it's your lifestyle. What are you eating? What do you exercise? Whatever, it is. But doctors don't do that. Unfortunately, but I think it's changing. More and more doctors are getting into this, the importance of lifestyle. But this is what happened with Beatrice, and then so I started, studying more and finding out, well, maybe it's, are there other diseases where, lifestyle and nutrition can have a great impact. And then you find out, type 2 diabetes and obesity and high blood pressure. It's, and even autoimmune diseases, more and more studies are coming out. So that's what did this change for me. And this is what I do,
It's a beautiful thing that what you're doing, because you're bringing awareness to people that for many years are stuck eating unhealthy. They have this unhealthy lifestyle, and you give testimony of a woman that was given only 6 months to live, and then suddenly, because of her change of her eating habits, it extended her life. And it turns out that she did not die from what she was originally diagnosed that she was going to pass away from. She actually passed away from other complications. For our
And
listeners,
I just wanted, there's one thing I
sure.
just want to make a point. And she wasn't 100% plant based. That's what's important for me. And I would say she was like 85, 90%. And that also had eventually had an effect on me that, well, okay, so anything you can do, will be good for you. So that's what also made an impact on me. So I don't even say plant based or vegan, because the problem with vegans is that you can't eat anything that's an animal product, but it's not even for your health so much. It's also because of the ethics of the way people treat animals, et cetera. But I just understand that, okay, you don't have to be 100%, but you can still get some of a lot of the positive effects of the importance of plants in your diet.
That's a very good point that you make, because for some people, letting go of some of these, just going completely plant-based can be very hard. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I think the way that I've been told, because I have made changes on my dietary, and as a result of changing my eating habits, I've been very successful in losing weight, on simply just eating healthier, just that making that change
Yeah,
of processed food, these sugars. I mean, like these sugars, like let's just cut out the sugar and certain things. Um, I have not, I'm noticing as I'm getting older, when I eat meat, it's not sitting right with me. So, because I don't want to have that feeling of like having like heartburn or that heaviness and all that, I'm eating less and less of that. And I'm moving towards it because my body's giving me signals. Um,
exactly.
so talk to me about, I mean, does your book cover on that? Because I think there are people that just dismiss the signals that our bodies are telling us. It's like, because if we listen carefully to what our body's telling us, it's telling us this is not good, don't eat this is bad. um is that something that you cover in your book or not?
Yeah, absolutely. And that has to do with, changing a habit. Uh, so I don't, it's not what you shouldn't be eating. It's what you should be eating. So introduce foods that are beneficial for you that you're not eating. And, okay, you want to continue eating other things that maybe, even processed foods, but the more you introduce the healthy foods, and then you get to a point, because you just changed a little habit. Instead of eating, let's say, what you start eating one meal a day, more of plant-based foods. And maybe in a few weeks, you'll say, hey, I lost a few pounds, or I feel more energy. So it's important that when you make a habit change, that you get a reward for it. And that is something positive, because that's going to, motivate you. Because if you change a habit and nothing happens for you, they say, well, why am I doing it? I'm just going to go back to the way I was eating before. So it's really important. And that's what I tried to do, you just bring in a little bit of change. Can you eat another, people eat plant-based foods. I'm sure people like, even if you eat hummus, or you eat guacamole, or you're eating, you can eat oatmeal breakfast or granola. I mean, so many things that we eat, maybe we take it for granted, that we enjoy, that are healthier than eating that box of cereals that is 90% sugar or whatever it is. So it's introducing, not saying don't eat this, eat
Okay.
more of this. And that's what I really like to do. And when you do, and then you open up, well, why am I feeling bad? Okay, there's a reason, because your body thrives on this. Your body loves, even the same thing with supplements. Your body loves, I mean, throughout the millions of years, the body loves food. And all of a sudden, decades ago, they started bringing in, just like they did with pharmaceuticals, supplements. So it's like, I'm not saying don't take a supplement. I take vitamin B12, and there's some people who want to take, because they don't get enough sun, they take a vitamin D. But I used to take 13 supplements. This was like, I think, let's say 5 years, it was like 10 years ago. I was taking 13 supplements a day. And I thought that was the way to go. And I used to go to, my parents were living in Florida then. So we used to go, and there was this company in Florida, I forgot the name of it, actually, that we used to go every year to visit my family, and we would buy a lot of supplements, a lot of money spent on supplements. And I would subscribe to this magazine that they produced. And they had great articles. It was a monthly magazine that I used to get. It had great articles on health and illness. And they were talking about vitamins and minerals. And I'm taking the supplements. But I got to the point when I realized that this company was pushing their vitamins and minerals, because they would do a great article on, you're missing this, the problem with this illness, you're missing this supplement. And then 3 pages later on in the magazine, they would have the supplement, the vitamin, the mineral that you're missing. They wouldn't tell you anything about the foods you can eat that has that. So I gave up, and I was taking 13 every single day, 13 vitamins and minerals. And then I gave it up, and, so that's the whole thing. It's like supplements, or the supplement industry is just like the pharmaceutical industry.
Right.
And the problem with the supplement industry, I got off on this tangent here, is they're not really even controlled as much as the pharmaceutical industry. So that the supplements, there's you don't even know what you're sure you're getting, what they're telling you get, because there isn't that much regulation on it. So that's the problem with it. And the body loves food. It always has, and it always will. It's not, you can eat an apple and and get your vitamin A or take the supplement, but the apple is like a symphony. It has all these vitamins together, and they're working together, and the body takes the apple, and at this moment, I need this amount of vitamin A, this amount of vitamin E, this amount of vitamin C. And that's what the body is, this incredible miracle that uses what it wants at each particular moment.
I just want to say, listeners, did you hear what Michael just said? I'm going to recap 2 things that stood out that are so powerful. Number 1, mindset. You talked about perspective, because I was talking about don't eat this, don't eat that. However, you very, very gently said that's not good. Put in what you can eat. Do not look at look at what I can. And that is the key thing, what I can eat. And this is where you start nurturing and feeding your body with all these wonderful things. That's number 1. So don't look at it as don't, look at it as what I can. I love what you just said. That's powerful. That's like, boom, my head just like I just had a moment of, whoa, okay. Number 2, what you said. The body is a symphony, and it knows what it needs. And you were talking about the apple. Everything's been given to us. Everything. Our body, the vegetables, our fruits, everything natural is there to take. We do not, I don't want to dismiss and say don't take supplements, as you said, but however, we can get that through the natural way, And so, which leads me to my next question. So I love this, what you just said, because this is really mind blowing. I love this. The next question, which leads me, cravings. You know how people have these cravings? Do you cover that in your book on cravings, or no, or yes, or we can discuss on your thoughts on cravings?
Yeah, I have cravings too. I crave. I try to crave the good stuff though. Like I have a craving. Both my wife and I, we have craving for chocolate. So okay. I make my own chocolate. I make my own. Yeah, we eat 2 pieces of chocolate a day. So chocolate is like addictive.
Okay. Okay.
But I
Okay.
don't. I use very little sugar in it. It's because, like most people, wouldn't even want to eat the chocolate because it's a bitter chocolate, a dark chocolate I make,
Okay.
and as I would say, it's like 80%, 85% uh, 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 chocolate, and maybe 15% sugar. So, but I use a very healthy sugar. I'll eat date sugar.
Okay.
So it's like keep away from the processed sugar. So
Okay.
I'm not perfect, it's so sweets is my my thing, but that gets then the thing you mentioned about the mindset, is really because I'm really into mindset
Okay.
of like you get to the point where all of a sudden you know who you are, and then you can once you know that. That's what happened when I became in my 80s. It's like I changed my identity. So I'm sort of like I'm this person who is thriving in their 80s, and not I'm already there, and then
Okay.
I'm just living my life. And what do I have to do today to do? So I got all these lifestyle changes I've made. So I'm enjoying my 80s as much as I enjoyed my 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. So yeah, the cravings. But you got to realize also, because there are craving, these psychologists, they know about our cravings, and they
Mhm.
get us on the thing. Like, I crave, people crave, McDonald's or Burger King, and there's a reason you crave it, because and I go into this, in the book, about they work around well, it's the sugar, the salt, and the fat, which is on our taste buds,
Right.
and so they know exactly how to get you caught on anything. Cheese the exact same way. So cheese is also addictive. So it's not even a crave. It gets to the point where it's addictive. That it's so that's what we got to realize that. And then, but you get to the point is like, you can enjoy your cravings can either be, unhealthy
Right.
completely, processed foods, but they're all managed that way that they keep you hooked on it. And so that's what we have to realize also. But when you get to the point that, should I eat this? I shouldn't. Should I have that ice cream? And the mind tells you, and I don't know. I have so much to say here. So I remember one thing. Bill Cosby once said something really interesting, way back. And he said, because I don't know if he was on a diet or something, but he said it's really interesting that our craving is right here in this little space here, which is the mouth, by our taste buds and everything. And then when we swallow it, it's gone. The craving, it's not there. And then the rest of the body is dealing with what you ate, and it's like, what is going to happen from that? Is it a good thing you ate or not? So the body is going to use it. And that's if it only has bad stuff that you craved, once it gets by. So this little space here, what fraction of the body is this mouth? And it's for you, or for anybody, it's like everything,
Right.
that taste is the most important thing. But you change it. Once you change your identity, you look at the health a different way, and you really care about your body, because it's where life lives. It's the temple of your life.
Exactly. It's your temple, and you got to cherish it and take care of it. And I love what you said, because when you were talking about how you made your chocolate, I mean, a couple of things came into my mind, and I thought this would be a really great thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Number one, well, right now I have my daughter-in-law. She's really careful about eating really healthy. Like, she loves bread, but she buys all the right stuff, the right flour, all this. She's very cautious of making those changes, and so she's very mindful of that. And when you touched on the chocolate, that you said it's very bitter, it's like, even when we start pulling away, and I noticed that for myself, when I started pulling away from the sugar, something that normally, like, if I was to go back and get a cup of coffee or whatever from Starbucks, my chai tea latte, if I wanted to go back on that, I would be overwhelmed with how
sugary it is. I would be like, oh my gosh, this is way too much because I've been so long without it. I haven't done it in such a long time. And so, like, for example, and this is just one prime example when you were talking about your
Hmm.
chocolate, I thought about this is I never liked the fresh coconut, the actual coconut water, the coconut milk, the coconut water from the actual coconut. I
Coconut,
never
yeah.
yeah, I never really liked that taste. Now, for me, it's so refreshing and it craves that sweetness that I used to like need, like that sweet, like when you're talking about that chocolate. So I think if we start targeting, and notice that eating that grape, it tastes so good and it takes away that sweetness that I'm looking for, that craving, because I'm a chocolate lover. But I'm not as good as you making my own chocolate. That I don't know. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I try to fill it in different ways through grapes, through because I want to have my like that sugar fix, like I want to have that because I want to taste that sweetness, and I love. And so so when you said that chocolate, you need to share that recipe with me because I'm going to start doing that. You need to share that.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's really important what you mentioned, about, and in an example, because I try to reduce the sugar,
Hmm.
this way. First of all, I try to get the sugar from fruits, natural foods, which is fine. It has nothing to do with the spikes or anything like that because it's natural. So, but one thing that I noticed that I'm going to I have coffee. I have organic coffee, decaf. I drink every day pretty much, and I will just either use maybe I'll do a little stevia if I don't want to do anything that's sugary, but I'll have it'll be sweetened by the date sugar. But I noticed that now I'm going to try it without sugar. I'm going to have and when you reduce it, you'll notice that, like you were mentioning, after a while, because what happens, your buds change.
Yes.
So all of a sudden, it's like with my wife, she needs more, uses more sugar than I. How could she use so much sugar? I don't need it anymore. And the
Yeah.
same thing, if you could just do a taste. If you stop eating salt, adding salt to your food uh, for a couple of weeks, and then you eat take salt, everything tastes so salty because your taste buds are changed. And that's the way it is. Taste buds are changing every few weeks, so you can make changes, and you won't. It's amazing. That's the way the body is. So cells keep being replaced. New cells, new cells. In every organ is like that. But in the body with the taste buds, it's the same exact thing. The cells in your tongue are constantly changing. And then the other thing, once you make a change, it's like, hey, I don't need that much sugar anymore. So that's healthy. I don't need that much salt anymore. And that's
That's true.
healthy. And then the brain, when you make a change, all of a sudden it's new synapses, a new connection is made. And then you've made a habit change. And now you're fine with the change, the healthy
That's
change. Yeah.
that is so very true in what you're saying, and I think one of the key things is, and what we you just mentioned is, it doesn't have to be dramatic. Like for people have to say, oh, I got to stop this today, like now, completely cut it off. No, if you gradually work your way, and you were talking about the cells of the tongue, how we
Right.
change, and and we start gradually, it's like a gradual change that we don't even notice, and that's what happened with me. I made changes like where they were gradual, um you know and then I didn't begin to notice, and now the only way I notice it is if I go back and have a sip or whatever, like let's say that Starbucks, I'm like, oh my gosh. Or even if I haven't eaten
Uh-huh.
fast food in a very long time, but if I was to go eat fast food, I think, and I did that once like many years ago, it tasted like garbage. Like I was like, what is this? Like it was not good. I was thinking, oh, a Big Mac, that taste of that, and the Big Mac did not taste like the way I thought it would taste, because when I tasted it, or the Chick-fil-A
Hmm.
sandwich, and I'm not promote. I mean, like I just want to say that it just tastes different, and it wasn't as tasty as I thought it was in my head. And I'm like, this is what I was eating before, and I thought this was the greatest thing. Like, no. But yeah, but
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. But thank you for sharing that. So let me ask you this, because I think as far as like nutrition wise, we can go into hours of talking about this. I
Right.
kind of want to shift on the health now aspect, if you don't mind. Can we,
Yeah, sure.
I can, so you and I could sit here and talk for hours, but I kind of want to make sure I cover a whole bunch of things in there, health wise. Tell me, let's expand on that aspect. We talked about the nutrition. Let's talk about health now. The aspect of like, I have, for example, I'll use my mom as an example. My mom
Yeah.
is 76 years old, 76 right now. Um, and she doesn't move much. And slowly now she's starting to move more, my sister puts on her little music, and she loves, because my mom back in the day, she loved to dance her salsa. She danced. My mom was a, and now um she puts on her music, and now you can see her
Okay.
going a little bit more. And so she's kind of pulling her out of that. I'm sitting down in my frumpy chair and all that. What recommendations, what more would you recommend, or some of the things that are good, beneficial that you cover in your book in the health aspect and the exercise, I guess, for
Yeah, well, the exercise, it's interesting because, excuse me, I did a podcast last week, and it was the person who interviewed me was young, and she had multiple sclerosis, and that was the podcast. It was on it was focused on that a lot. But I talked about identity change, a mindset. I call it either identity or a mindset change. And it was really amazing because, uh, you know, multiple sclerosis is very severe, but
Mhm.
she changed her mindset, and she's now giving yoga classes, and you know, because there are certain things that, maybe don't have, you can't reverse it, yeah, it's, but you can enjoy it a lot more than you are enjoying it if you look at it a positive way and
Mhm.
really say, no, I'm going to take advantage of this time I have in my life. I'm going to
Mhm.
enjoy it as much as I can, through exercise, and see what I can, because there's so many videos on different, on Parkinson's, on different, diseases, where you can, and there's new discoveries, there's new things that are helping people, really enjoy it. We had a friend, yeah, she was, but she had like Parkinson's like 12 years, and it was always this thing of like, join a community, where people, like, you can share with people. So that's what I can suggest, is that, see what's out there, because you could sit around and take it negatively, and then you're not gonna enjoy, as your life, or your life, maybe your life won't last that long, because
Exactly.
you have this so this mindset of like, oh, how terrible things are. But so
Mhm.
much has to do with mindset, it's unbelievable. And I think that, you know that when people get the right mindset, they can really enjoy what they're going through. Maybe meditation. We've been doing, my wife and I, in meditation for decades, and it's such an important thing. I do another thing, breath work, which is part of my life. I've adapted so many new things in my life because I'm always researching what can help me even enjoy more. So breath work, I don't know, with your mom, just really focusing, trying to go inside, making that connection within,
Mhm.
that, whatever's happening, whatever illness is happening, whatever is happening on the outside, has nothing to do with our inner self. And there is an inner self in every human being, and that we
Mhm.
can get in touch with and really enjoy. And without having, uh, other things affect us so much, because we all are human beings inside, and that we can treasure. Whether we have Parkinson's, whether you have a chronic disease or you don't. People don't have a chronic disease could be suffering more, because of certain things that affect them from the outside. They could be suffering more and going through so much more stress than even somebody who has another disease. So staying in touch, that's what I do, is always trying to remember that whatever's happening on the outside, there's something else inside that's untouchable, because it's me. It's Michael Dorfman. It's like without those things on the outside. Yeah.
Love that. That's great. I think you hit the nail on the head, and you just said it. And I think that's listeners. I am going to say this again. Did you hear? Mindset. It's perspective. Everything ties into that. Whether it's the workout, whether it's the nutrition, it is mindset and how you perceive things. And I just absolutely love that. I think that is the one thing that I'm going to take away from this podcast is the mindset, and kind of also what brings joy. Like I mentioned that she likes music, that pulls it out. Find that joy that, that triggers something in a positive way. Now I'm not talking about triggers in a bad way, triggers in a good way, like things that like that get you going, that gets you moving. If it's playing the music on there, if it's, if it's shopping, like if you love to shop and you need to get your steps that way, go shopping, now you talked about community. One of the things that you talked about in our earlier conversation, a while back, a couple of months before we had you on today, you talked about a community that you live in currently right now. And I think community is very important. Can you expand on that, on the aspects of the community, like your everyday life and how that sets? Because I think when people hear the word community, some people have different definitions to it. And I kind of I love the way you painted your community. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, sure. Well, one of the things is that community, I just want to mention about the blue zones. Just the blue zones are, I don't know if you want to explain it or not.
Please do. For those, because there are people are going to be like wondering what are blue zones? I don't know. Please, yes, go if you don't mind. Yes.
Yeah, sure. So the blue zones are considered the healthiest, the populations who live the healthiest and longer living lives. So this is worldwide, and there are 5 blue zones, and they were found by Dan Buettner, who's working for National Geographic around 2008, 2009. He was an adventurer working for the National Geographic, and they sent him on this journey with a team of experts to find out where the longest and healthiest living people on the planet live. So it was 2 years they went and they found these 5 places. And I'll just mention them. They have Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy, Ikaria in Greece, Loma Linda in California, and Nicoya in Costa Rica. So it wasn't only to find out where they lived, but part of the journey was to find out what similarities between these populations that were separated by oceans or land masses. Of course, if there are similarities, then maybe there's something there that they have in common. So they found out different, and there was books written on it. There's actually a documentary on Netflix. It's Live to 100, Secrets of the Blue Zones. And this was Dan Buettner returning to the Blue Zones a couple of years ago and doing this 4-part series, which is on Netflix. So it's great to see that. So anyway, they found certain things, and one was plant-based diets on every single one of them. Not 100% in all of them. They ate fish, some fish, meat. So even in Loma Linda, the Seventh-day Adventists, that's the area there, a lot of them pescatarians. So they did have some fish there, but they were mostly plant-based. So that's where I got this thing of like, well, though you don't have to be perfect,
Right.
plant-based. So another one of those, it was exercise, the importance of doing exercises, stress reduction, and then it was community, caring community. So in all these places, these 5 places, they were part of a community, and that they were together with other people, whether it, that's why community is important, whether it's religion based, or by what you play to things together, the same interests. And it goes all the way back to our this the hunter gatherers, where they were all parts of community. Human beings have always been. It was the tribe then. They were always
Right.
part of the tribe. Human beings are social creatures, and that's where we do our best. So they were the tribe during the hunter gatherers. They had to help each other. There was like 15 and 20 to the tribe, members, but they helped each other because they needed each other terribly because of the situation they were under. So much stress with animals, predator animals, or climate change, lack of food. They needed each other to help each other. So this is part of us. Unfortunately, I see today there's more loneliness in today's world than there ever was. People are on their phones. They think it's the same thing as being with people, and it's not. And I just know, and I people I know, and they have children. Every day. This one guy was telling me we play pickleball, and he's telling me he's going back to the States because his son is depressed. And it's like there's so much depression now. And so getting back to this, it's really important in the community. So we have a pickleball community here, which is we enjoy each other. We don't talk about politics. We don't talk about religion. We just enjoy playing with each other. We get together. I meet with them and other. So this is a community where you just feel the vibe of enjoying each other. And that's one of the reasons that I love this community, because some have this idea when you get older that you're taught to make friends. Who told you that? Yes. They tell you these things, but not true. You can make a lot of friends when you get older. You just make friends of older people. You just got to find out where they are. And it's really great because I enjoy being with them, because they know that I'm 84. I'm the oldest one in the community playing pickleball, and everybody always talks about, this guy's 84 and he's playing against 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, and I am, and I'm enjoying it. And when I play against these younger people, I don't look at them. I'm 84. I'm just I'm going to beat this guy, or
Yeah.
I don't even think about it. I don't think about my age really.
Right.
Once in a while it comes to me and I say, nope, I'm not going in that direction, thinking about, because I don't have that much time left. I mean, even if I live to 100, it's like another 15 years, but I don't get into that. That's why mindset is so important, because you can have this distraction. And I see it as a distraction where it says, you only got about 15 years, even if you reach, my wife was 80 last year. So we're in the same thing. So, but you really get a chance to enjoy things more. It's got so much positive stuff to it as you get older, because we don't have kids to take care of. We don't have we're sort of retired. We have a little business going, but you don't have that much responsibility. So now we take care of our own responsibility to ourselves, to our health, to each other, and just to enjoy our lives. And so community is part of that, but it has to be a caring community,
Right.
and where you could depend upon each other. Back in the hunter gatherers, they really needed each other to save their lives, but maybe not to that extent, but maybe to just, to be able to, you feel the enjoyment, you feel it just affects your emotional life, by being positive, and you could depend upon each other. Yeah.
I love that that you said, and I'm so glad that we touched on community, because it's, I think, and you're absolutely right, more and more people getting depressed because of the fact that there's that disconnect. I think the technology, technology has its benefits. Like right now, you are in Mexico right now, and I am in Texas, and you and I are able to have this wonderful conversation, this wonderful
Yeah.
podcast thing because of technology. But at the same time, technology is a double-edged sword because it can bring people to isolation, which is why it's so important. Like podcasting is very important because it can reach out communities to, it could be a community of people that are listening to Life and In Between or the podcast that you may run or other podcasts that you've been on. So I think that technology can be a benefit to help people. And when you said is to help each other, a positive community, because you could be in a community that's very toxic.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I love that you just said was you're playing your pickleball and you're competing against a 30-year-old, and you're like, hey, there's no age difference here at this moment because I'm here to beat you. And so I love that. And
Yeah.
it's, again, circles back to mindset. And I love everything that you're just saying. So, we have some like listeners out there, if they want, and they said, you know what, I want you to be my life coach, my health and nutrition life coach. How can they reach you? How can they contact you? What's the best way?
Well, I have my website.
Okay.
I guess I think you have that information.
I am going to post that on the description. I'm definitely going to put that all in the description, your website and all that. But if for our listeners, if you want to give out the URL or the name of your website or any social media handles where they can find you, if you're like on Facebook or Instagram or on, what's that called? That other one, TikTok or there's TikTok, there's LinkedIn.
Substack. I use Substack. Yeah.
Substack. That's the one I was thinking of. Substack. Yes.
Yeah.
Can we get your handles? Can you? And I will definitely put that on the description when I.
Let me see. I have my handle. Let me see my Substack handle here.
Okay, let me see if I have it here as well.
Okay, my handle is * Mike 82.
Yeah, Substack.com. I think, yeah. Okay, yeah. Mike 82. That's where they can find you?
Yeah, that's where they can find me. And the other thing with Substack is that I come out with articles every week.
Oh, okay, great.
So we're talking about some new things I'm doing. And then I have my website, which is the longevitywellnessrevolution.com.
Okay.
Okay. And the other thing is, I don't think the last time we talked, I have a guidebook.
Oh, okay. Tell me about your guidebook.
It's the longevity wellness revolution.com/guidebook. So you go into that and then you get my guides free,
Okay.
And so it gives you an idea. It gives you an idea of what it's all about, with this guide. It's a 7-page guidebook. And with the coaching, I'm getting together. I'm formalizing a coaching course. I'm going to be offering that because my book is coming out very soon. So I'm going to be offering that. And I'll get you the information but it's going to all be on my website if you want information on the coaching course.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You were going to finish. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the other thing that's really good is that if people with my Substack, because I'm not stopping. I finished my book. It's coming out soon, but I'm already beyond the book. It's like because I keep doing the research and learning new things and adding things to my life, and so that's what my mindset is. What am I going to do to just keep on going as long as I'm going? So it's not finished. It's like beyond the book now. So that's what I really want to share with people so they can enjoy it too. And really, I want to help people just join me on my journey and and just share what I'm learning and, my different lifestyle things I've added, whether it's hot and cold showers or intermittent fasting, breath work, breath holds, hanging, dead hangs just from my back, keep my posture okay. That's what happens also. You get older, you want to make sure your posture continues. So it's all about that and all about the research that I've been doing most of my life.
I love that. I love that. So it doesn't end. It doesn't end when you retire. It continues. This is like a beautiful life journey, and it's in your how you choose to live life. And I
That's
love that.
it.
And the mindset. So for our listeners that are listening, I need you to reach out to Michael. Michael has some, I'm gonna get you back. I mean, you are now part of La Familia. You are now
Thank you. Thank you. It's a great family, by the way.
you are now part of La Familia.
Amelia.
And I will have you on there, and then maybe in maybe some future, maybe I'll have you a couple of times if you don't mind. We can even do one in Spanish.
Por supuesto.
Por supuesto, right? But we can't leave out our Spanish listeners out there that want to hear this. And this is because this information is important, critical, and it should be sent out to the masses. So, and for some people that just don't speak English, this is valuable information. And within the Spanish culture, I just want to add, we eat fatty. We don't really quite eat healthy. We like our chicharron. We like to eat all this. Like if you think about it, chuleta empanizada. We like to eat all these fried foods, all this like chorizo. And so really kind of switching it and changing it, and they need to hear it. So I'm going to definitely get you on for our Spanish. We're going to cover, even if it's 15 minutes, we're going to cover something in Spanish, okay?
Well, it's also interesting because I want to translate the book into Spanish,
Yes.
this one, because here I am, I'm in Mexico.
Yes.
What am I doing? And unfortunately in Mexico, you don't have all these options of information. It's just like you're saying, it's just, they don't know. And that's what I want to do. I did one podcast in Spanish, by the way, last year. A woman from California interviewed me in Spanish. So that was great. So yeah, we could do it. I would enjoy. I've given talks in Spanish, so no problem with that. That'd be great.
Well, that's great that you've done it in Spanish. I'm sad that we weren't the first ones. That Life in Between wasn't the first, but that's okay because we want the information out for everyone. And I know that because I want to be very respectful and mindful of your time. Because I mean, Michael, I love your energy. I could sit here and talk to you for 4, 5, 6 hours, and we could continue like all day. But I want to be mindful and respectful of your time. I did also want to ask you, because we have our listeners that are living their life in between moments. Things are happening. What advice can you give? I know you gave us some golden advice. You gave us some nuggets. I mean, great stuff. What final words would you leave our listeners that they can take away that are currently right now in a life in between moment?
Well, maybe I could just give my, mention something. Like for me, it's really to understand what life is. And for me, and I try to remember it as much as possible, life is the greatest gift we've ever been given, because without life, there would be nothing for anyone. So life is our greatest gift, and we need to treasure it. Well, if we want to, if we really want to, enjoy this life, we have to enjoy also the understanding that after life, the other great gift we have is our body. Because without our body, the body is where our life lives. Without the body, the same thing. There's nothing. So if I try to remember the preciousness, I guess it's also through my meditation of just trying to remember of what, this is the once in a lifetime chance that I have of, in all of eternity, here I am for however many years I have. This is it. Whether you come back, I don't know. I don't remember, but this is where it is. This is our possibility of heaven. And it's like heaven on earth, that's what he said, so it's the heaven on earth we can experience. And in order to and once we do, we realize the preciousness, and we are enjoying our life. We need to take care of our body, because we don't want to get that, because if you get sick, you get a chronic disease, or you're suffering, emotionally, mentally, you can't really enjoy your life. So it's really, as early as possible, start taking care of your body, and don't think that the body, sickness gets to us at the very, in our 60s, 70s. It's already starting at our early years, whether it's heart disease, whether it's type 2 diabetes, cancer. It takes time for these things to develop. And now, and so we really, if we really want to appreciate this life in between, we have to appreciate our body enough to take care of it. So that's what I guess I just...
Mic drop. That's a mic drop statement. I'm going to tell you, that is mic drop. You have just said it all. I love that. This is amazing, because yes, it's our body. We got to take care of it. And I love everything that you have just said. So yes, not only was it a mic drop moment, but it was a explosion in the head. Okay. I love that. So thank you so much. I appreciate you being a wonderful guest. As I said, you're part of the familia now. I am going
Gracias.
Yes. And I just want to say to our listeners, please, for those that have listened through this episode, if you know of anyone that needs to hear it, please share it. I want you to go ahead and share it to our loved ones, because if you really love the people that you have in your life, your friends, your family, and all that, share this, because this is such important information that's being given. Go to Michael's page, because he has so many wonderful things, great tips. Sign up, get his information, because he's talking about you, to take care about you. So please do that. And then for those that have not, and this is their first time listening to Life and In Between, our podcast, please like, share, and subscribe to us, because we would love to continue passing on the message. Thank you so much. And for everyone else out there and everyone that's listening, I want you to have peace and love. Thank you.
Yes.